tail go. No tail, no tail. Wiggity, wiggity, wiggity. You stop wagging? You stop wagging, buddy? Because I start talking to you? Is it? You're happy for a second? Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Houston with a Problem. Woo! It's Wednesday. It's an after dark, spooky, shiny shirt week day 19. This is a nice silk job. I cannot remember who gave this to me. One of you sent it to me. It's a lovely shirt. It's a far cry from the shirt I wore on Monday, where I was a sweaty pig underneath. This one is like silky and cool and flowy and just wonderful. So we raised 7,000. Well, last I saw 7,720, and someone just said it's more than that. That we, where are we? How much? How much did we raise? Gotta go my channel. Yes, gotta do that. We'll get there eventually. Where are we? Here we go. It's gonna make noise, isn't it? Stop it! Don't make noise! Don't make noise!
So my wife.
Don't make noise. 7,855. Holy cow! $7,855 raised for Toys for Tots. That is like 5 normal Charity Tuesdays in one. You guys are amazing. $7,855 for Toys for Tots. Dude. That just made so many Christmases for little kids. Good job. Good job. And thank you, Alexander. The good news is, if you donated, and I put your name on the list here. Let me get a copy of this. I'm going to put a link in here. If you donated with your name, everyone who donated gets a Blue Sky code. So click on the link. If you see your code in there, message me via Reddit, and I get you your code. So it's everybody donated gets a Blue Sky code, which is fantastic. And I may even have a couple left over. A couple of folks on the list, I may have given you Blue Sky codes in the past, but honestly, I cannot remember. Everything just kind of blurs together into just a giant long list of names, and I don't know. But good job, everybody. And I've got some codes to folks who won last month who never contacted me and finally contacted me. So that's great. Other news right off top. The filings that happened during the show yesterday, those all point to credit bid process, preserving the NOLs, telling the unsecured creditors that they're shit out of luck, you're not going to monetize them, they're being carried forward, distributing new equity to cold shareholders, which is us. Ding 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 ding. So everything we wanted is right in there, right in those filings. What else? GameStop went bonkers. Shot up to over $17 today. 60 million shares traded, when for the last year and a half, the average volume's been like 2 to 4 million shares. Just crazy. So the question is, they pushed it down a little bit as things got to the end of the day. Question is, does it stay over 17 for Friday? Or do they hammer it back down again and then let it climb back up as we move into earnings next week? Because you know the thing, they earnings, it goes climb. They announce the earnings, then they short it after hours and try to hammer it down as best they can. That's never fails. They do it every single solitary time, except for Q4 earnings last year. That's the one time they didn't do it that way. So yeah, what's happening there? What's going on? It definitely wasn't retail buying, that's for sure. There was a whale who spent $70,000 on weeklies and made like 1 point something million. Unusual Whales was pointing that one out. Yeah, so interesting. Elon Musk, on his "I didn't do an anti-Semitism" tour, told his advertisers to like go fuck themselves. Great job. Good job, Elon. And then told a Jew who runs Disney that he's like a piece of shit, but I'm not anti-Semitic. So speaking of bad Jews, Kissinger died. Hey, all right. Woo, a guy's responsible for the death of like 4 million people and genocide in several different countries, as well as fascist rule in Chile and yeah, that guy's a piece of garbage. And it's about time. Only the good die young, right? And Kissinger made it to 100 years old. Ah, the cat wants in. Hey, fat cat. Come on, dude. Come in. Get in here. Come on, don't think about it. Just do it. There you go. Oh, that's right, buddy. You take care of what's left of that avocado that's now littering the floor, as both you and the dog destroyed that thing. So, was there anything else? The shills are quite active in my DMs today. That's interesting because whenever a good docket comes out, like a really juicy docket that's like, that's the meetings, they start jumping into my DMs. I had one guy. I should bring this one up. Let's see here. See if I can get good old Wolfie in here. He hasn't blocked me yet. Can I make you big? Ooh, I can. Excellent. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let's do a blow by blow. All right. I'm gonna get to a good spot here. Scene. I gotta go to. I've done the intro yet, but no intros are on. I don't think they're on anyway. I might end up doing the toy intro. We'll find out. Chrome. There we go. Okay. Wait, where'd you go? Oh, you're not on. There we go. Okay, so, so he comes in, and this goes on for like 2 hours. So I was telling him, he's like, "You're just a grifter piece of shit." I'm like, but I did raise like $7,000 yesterday, so that's pretty cool. And he's like, "You just actually, you like how people don't. It's actually how people who don't attention seeking online." He's trying to say that I'm attention seeker and he's not. And I said, "Yeah, here you are attention seeking online. Curious. How's that?" I said, "You wouldn't be here if you weren't attention seeking. I'm here because I'm not attention seeking. I could have easily called you out publicly if I wanted attention." So I do a fake quote. "I have an idea. I'll create an account specifically to go into subreddits and talk shit about someone's stock play. That will get me attention I crave." Fucking hypocrite. "You were there publicly, dipshit. And when you got banned for being quite literally attention seeking, you DM me to get even more attention. You messaged me privately. Why aren't you understanding here? Because you can't do it publicly anymore. But you crave attention, will get it anywhere you can. Like I have been saying, you're pathetic." Says the ape, waiting for someone to gift them free equity out of the kindness of their heart when the company already said that isn't happening. I said, they want the NOLs. And if they want them, they have to give us 50% equity. The kindness of their heart has nothing to do with how a play like this works. No one wants the NOLs, man. If they were so valuable, Dream On Me and Overstock would have bid on them when they were locking the IP off the corpse of NOL would require continuity. There's no continuity. The NOLs are worthless. This is something they always love to say. The NOLs are worthless. The NOLs are worth like $10 billion. I looked it up today. 2023, let's get away from the script here. 2023, the losses for Bed Bath & Beyond are $3.8 billion. $2.78 billion for 2022. And at least $1 billion a year for 2021, 2020, 2019, and 2018. You're looking at $10 billion in just losses since 2018. That does not include any magic math they would do with stock buybacks, fraud, blah, 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 blah. So, the NOLs are huge. All right. I said the NOLs weren't for sale, dumbass. The dip financiers wanted them, which is why they will get them. "Well, you guys don't understand what you're talking about. How long is it going to take you waiting to get anything that the show is over and you lost your money on a meme stock?" I said, "I understand everything. You seem to think that because they sold off IP that the business does not exist anymore. But they don't need the IP to still exist. They still have an accounting department. Thus, the business is still a going concern and continuity has been maintained. Why do you think the NOL billings are more than a month after the IP was sold? How dumb are you morons? Do you even know how a calendar works? Jesus fucking Christ. It's like explaining galaxy astrophysics to a puppy." "How dumb are you morons? You held a stock to zero and bragged about it, and you have the audacity to call someone else a moron?" I said, chronological time. You live through it and have no clue how one thing comes after another. Hertz held to zero. How'd that work out for everyone? You've lost your grip on reality. Bunch of dudes lost 100% of their investment, giving people investment advice. Lol, what a world. I said, you don't know how the calendar works, and here you are trying to decipher how bankruptcy law works. I had lots of typos. Rage tweeting. You're the dumbest motherfucker ever slide in my DMs. Which comes first in chronological order, July or August? I'll give you time. You can look it up on Wikipedia. So which is it? Does July or August come first? I would assume you have pulled up the article on Wikipedia by now, so tell me, which month comes first in the calendar year, July or August? It's a simple question that you apparently are too scared to answer. Buck up, Buttercup. You have 50-50 shot at getting it right. Give it a go. What, cat got your tongue? Well, which comes first? You can write July or you can write August. I take it your silence is you realizing what an illogical dumbass you are. Case closed. Eat shit shill. So, is it going to be a double intro? No intro. This is one of like 10 shills that popped into my DMs today. Plus, I went and go fucked with the guys over at BBBY Remastered. They're like, you're a grifter. And I'm like, fuck you. They're like, why are you being so mean? Why can't you be nice? I'm like, because you're a piece of shit. But I'm being nice. I'm like, you just called me a grifter. So eat shit, chill. And I had a good dude telling me today that there is no credit bid, that the plan doesn't allow for a credit bid. And then I showed him the section that allows for 363 credit bid. And he's like, no. So we are in the credit bid stage. Why are we in the credit bid stage? Because the creditors have not been made whole. And if the creditors have not been made whole, by the time the plan is executed and everything's done, then the creditors can accept equity in lieu of the cash that would get paid out normally. I was briefly on PP Show today, and PP Show made a valid point. He said the legal fees regarding merger acquisition, dip facility, preserving the NOLs, distributing equity, new equity to shareholders, et cetera, totals more money than BBBY made off of selling Bed Bath and Bye Bye Baby. They spent more money on organizing and setting this up for a credit bid than they made off of selling on the IP. So obviously the NOLs are worth a fortune. The NOLs are $10 billion. You're looking at $2 to $3 billion direct monetization, which is why those unsecured creditors wanted to monetize the NOLs. They wanted to get that $2 to $3 billion, check it out, and be gone, right? But they couldn't do that. The last two fee dockets that came out were the unsecured creditors trying to monetize those NOLs and being told, no, you can't, because the secured creditors are rolling them forward, and they're going to be used for the credit bid. So, there we are. We're sitting pretty on that. While I'm sitting here, I will go to this.
Houston, we have a problem.
Woo! Okay, turn it off, Houston. Turn it off. Whew. There we go. All right. What do you guys got? What's on your wild minds right now? Mr. Trolls mentioned something, but then redacted it. But Arving Happens says, woohoo. Arving Happens, why don't other football teams just put their center in to go against the tush push? I don't know. I mean, it seems like you just want to put a bunch of big, heavy dudes right there, right? But I don't know. Maybe there's some rule that says they're not allowed to. I know there's like certain jersey numbers you have to have for certain positions. I'm not the most wise person when it comes to rules in football, but maybe they don't have the right jersey number and they can't unless they like swap jerseys or something. I don't know. Dead base showing 7,805. Where were we? 7,855. So that's someone had another $50 since you messaged that, dude. Way to go. So close to $8,000. That's crazy. That's nuts. I think only a MOAS will break that record at this point. Pinnacle Photography How do you tell the difference between a male and a female snake? A male snake stands up to hiss. Okay, that was pretty good. Kelly Reed, if Costco raised their hot dog price of $1.49 up an extra 50 cents, I don't know what else kind of catalyst you need for an economic collapse, but the humble hot dog has spoken. Wiener recession. Wait, did they raise the price of the hot dog? I thought that was one of those. I thought the guy who was the founder said he would murder the CEO if that happened. $1.50, $1.50. Let's see if there's something in news. All right, I'm not seeing anything. You have me worried there. Is that in Canada, maybe, Kelly? Where they're raising the price of the Costco hot dog? There's still $1.50 here, as far as I can tell. There's a thing from August. So Sam's Club sells a $1.38 hot dog combo and powers it past Costco in the sales war. So we don't have any Sam's Clubs around here anyway. This is Costco country. Costco was founded in Seattle, and I don't know if there's any Sam's Clubs anywhere to be found around here. Yeah. Well, I'm not seeing anything, but if it goes $2, I know there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna want to fight. Wienergeddon. Jason Blackwell, Houston. What do you call children born in a whorehouse? Brothel sprouts. Also known as every old person who's ever approached me while I was beach mining. They're all brothel sprouts. Andrew Stewart, Houston. Can we push yesterday's show over 8,000? I'll start now with $50. There's Andrew Stewart. That's where the $50 came from. Love you all. Best community. I mean, yeah, if you guys want to go push it over, you're welcome to. We will take all the donations for Toys for Tots that you want to give. There's yesterday's show link. By all means, jump in there and throw some more money so some kitties can have a great holiday. Cheshire, Houston, Windmoon. What's up with 24-hour trading on GME, IEP, even AMC? Anything to do with BBY play? Thanks for your thoughts. Hugs to Monkey Butt and Batman. It's interesting what stocks they chose to do 24 hours on, because it's not everything that's NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange on Robinhood. But they're all routed through Citadel. Citadel is the market maker who is somehow supplying shares 24 hours a day, despite the fact that there are no shares available after the after hours are closed. So they're doing some sort of payment for order flow, dark pool magic, or selling a bunch of shares that don't exist and then somehow are going to come up with all of them the next day. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't think anything should trade 24 hours. I don't think crypto should trade for 24 hours a day. I think you need to give people a rest. People need to have the day off. People need to be able to, like, Saturday and Sunday, go, I am not going to think about what is trading and what's going on. I just think human beings need a break. And pushing everything to 24 hours, 7 days a week, is not giving anybody a break. People need to rest, folks. You need rest. I need rest. They need rest. And if now we have to worry about stock prices 24/7, I mean, come on. Just give it a break, Robinhood and Citadel. I don't know what you're up to, but I don't trust it. And someone was pointing out that it might technically be illegal. That it seems to be that they're trading based on Swiss law and not on U.S. law when they're doing it. Someone sent me a article about that. And I think it's shady, regardless, whatever it is. But I don't like it. Kelly Reed, Canada's GDP numbers to be announced tomorrow. I don't think it'll be good, even with the amount of people who are bringing into this country. The amount of people we're bringing to this country. Deep recession? I think recession's on the horizon for everybody. Black Friday looked pathetic. I've not heard any good Cyber Monday data come out yet. Foreclosures are coming. We're starting to see number of houses pop up for sale and what appear to be distressed sales going up. And my guess is that you might be able to get some deals. If you got cash, you might be able to get some deals on some foreclosed homes before the 31st of December. So banks that will just be like, we'll get off our books, get it done now. Because I think they know that there's a tsunami coming of real estate, both commercial and residential. And we're starting to see it, especially in the Airbnb realm. And Airbnb is not doing themselves any favors. Iggy sent me a video today about a guy who, he's in like some college town, right? He's got an Airbnb, and there was people coming in from out of state to watch their football team play in this college town, and it's gonna be a $2,000 deal. And Airbnb was like, "No, we're canceling it for you." And the people who wanted it were like, "Why?" And the guy who was renting it was like, "Why?" And they're like, "Because we are." Does not seem to be doing anyone any favors. So if Airbnb is out there screwing over their customers and their clients, but they're advertising like crazy, and we all know the Airbnb numbers are way down. How are you going to be a viable business if the people who use your business can't, and the people who need your business to survive can't survive? It's all going to go poof, and everyone's going to be back at hotels or using VRBO or something. Little monster. You little monster over there. Wolfie J. Maritime law also including belt and road leveraging mines for ports. Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention the maritime law. So there's a couple of shipping companies who, I guess, screwed over Bed Bath & Beyond on the shipment of products during COVID. And they're seeking damages in excess of like $360 million in maritime court. So that's cool. Maritime law. That's something I've never had to read up about. And I'm sure we'll need all sorts. Stephanie L., you now need a police permit for Airbnb in LA. That makes sense. Like, you got to get permits to do this stuff. There's a lot of towns that are discovering they need a lot of the Airbnbs to turn to long-term rentals because people can't afford to live. So they're making rules like New York, but basically making Airbnb almost impossible in New York. I get it. Housing prices are too expensive. And if you can make way more money off of doing short-term rentals than long-term rentals, then you just destroyed your city. So yeah, it's good for the person who's doing it. They're making money. But for the culture and vibrancy of the city and workers, it's a terrible, terrible thing for everybody else. There was another super chat. Purportedly stupid. I'm sorry, Mr. Super Chat. Sorry, everyone. I bought some weekly calls at 3 p.m. Eastern time today, so it's my fault. Sorry. Okay. It's all you. They saw you order, and they went, turn off the buying, and watch the volume drop. 60 million shares. We haven't seen 60 million shares in GME trade for what? A year? When was the last time we saw that many shares trade? Was it like August of last year? Maybe. Probably not even that much. That's an insane volume. Something squirrely is going on. I noticed that the media is now mentioning the $149 trillion equity swap that's about to explode on the 15th. But they didn't have any answers as to who it is, what it is, why it's $149 trillion. Like, can I just go onto a Bloomberg terminal and write a quadrillion dollar equity swap and then post it to see if anyone wants it? Like, how do you know what's in it? Where do you find out what's in it? Like, what's the contract look like for that? Yeah, I'm going to take on $149 trillion in liabilities, and you are going to get this coupon for $5 off a foot-long combo at Subway. Nuts. It's just nuts. We're in a weird time. But Wolfie J is talking about maritime law, also including Belt and Road, leveraging mines for ports. A lot of what China is doing with the Belt and Road Initiative is they're building ports, airports, highways. They're sending the money to do that and then building it. And then the countries that get these new ports and roads and highways and things, they now owe China money, or else China forecloses on them and takes control of the ports, which allows them, cheap and free access to steal all the resources, send it back to China, and like stamp computer chips and things out of them. What's amazing is that they're doing it in US dollars. So they're not using Chinese currency to build these ports. They're using US dollars to build these ports. And where are they getting those US dollars to build those ports? From us. We're buying their goods and they're using that money, or we're buying bonds that they're using to float bonds in those countries. and then take the resources from them. So, hey, all right. Okay. Andrew Stewart Houston, what happened at Resources Divides Burglars? I think, yeah, Resources Divide, but gotta go to what, 3 words, right, to do this? Copy. 3, whoops. Houston, you learn how to type. 3 words. What 3 words? There we go. Oops, you guys can't see what I'm doing because I'm not on the right. There we go. Bam, bam. Resources divides burgers. Looks like we got Cliff. We got South Foreland Heritage Coast, Dover Patrol Memorial, Westcliff. Are we in? We're in Dover, so we're in the UK. Okay, so we're at the cliffs, Dover. We are at what was the question? What happened? I'll be watching this tomorrow. Oh, it's I got fat fingers. Resources divides burglars. Resources divides. Well, the cliffs of Dover are creatures. The Diatomaceous earth. It's chalk. They're tiny little sea creature skeletons, little zooplanktons. What happened there is, didn't a man choose his own capital punishment in Monty Python, The Meaning of Life, and choose to be chased down by a bunch of topless women in thongs, and then he jumped off a cliff and died there? That might have been that spot, if I, were to guess. Somewhere in here, right? That one, that grid, jumped off right into the dirt. So there you go. Diatomaceous earth is really cool to look at under a microscope. If you got the opportunity, like, you go to the garden store and go get some, because it's great for holding moisture. So you put it into like potted plants and stuff. Smash some up, get your trusty old microscope, put it under there. It is really cool looking. You will see like thousands of different creature skeletons, ancient little fossils, and I highly recommend it. So go do that. I'm not sure what other question you were asking about there. Okay. Walt the Man in the Middle. Curry, you were excellent, brother. Please explain centrifugal versus centripetal force. Thanks. Oh, centripetal versus centrifugal. Okay, centripetal force is the actual force. It is angular momentum in action. So, like, you know how a sling works? Like the type of sling that killed Goliath, David and Goliath type sling. You make a circle. You've got mass at the end of the circle. You're making the circle and it's moving. You got angular momentum going. At all times, the mass that's along the radius of that circle wants to leave in a tangent to the circle. And so the force you're feeling is the force of, like, if you're in a centrifuge, of your body wanting to leave at a tangent, but the apparatus itself forcing you to continue in a circle. Now, centripetal force can give you like say false gravity, if that makes sense. So, like, you can use centripetal force in an environment in space. You can make like a room that rotates. So while you're flying through space, kind of like in 2001 Space Odyssey, you can have, if the room rotates at a fast enough speed, you can utilize centripetal force in order to make fake gravity, make people feel like that they're in a gravity environment. Now, centrifugal force is kind of a misnomer. What it really is a centrifuge creates centripetal force. And we just use the terms, kind of laymanly, colloquially. And so, like, a centrifuge in general is a machine that creates centripetal force. It blasts in a circle using angular momentum, and then you can separate densities of materials. You can make, I don't know, turn people into goo if you do it fast enough. Make them pass out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Does that work? Does that help? Is that kind of, that's how I've always tried to explain to people, as poorly as I do. Meow meow. Ken Griffin just give his dog a social security number and put the $250 swap in his name? Problem solved. Fido, taking it to court. Hope you got good representation. It's like, who was it that like gave their dog the estate? One of those like debutante ladies, Leona Helmsley or something like that. Didn't she like give her dog or cat like her estate? And it's like the richest dog in the world. Dog's probably dead by now, so I don't know who the dog left everything to after that. But oh, to be that dog. You like that monkey? You too, you look that guy. Oh, you sure little chunker. All right. Where was I? Okay, that's 24-hour one. That is GDP numbers. That's maritime law. 254, Kissinger is dead. Elon meltdown during CNBC interview, tells advertisers to go fuck themselves, and claims it's blackmail and it will kill the platform. Today was a good day. Today seems like kind of a realignment, right? Like there's some realigning happened today that was quite magical, if you were. The best thing you can do as somebody whose entire business model requires advertisers to purchase advertisements on your platform is to tell them to go fuck themselves. That's how it works. You know, that's why broadcast television was so successful all these years. Was in reality, NBC needs to try and sell some ads for Seinfeld at 9:00 on Thursday nights, and they went into Ford Motor Company's marketing department and they're like, fuck you, you're cool, fuck you, buy some ads. And then Ford was like, yes sir. That's exactly what happened. That's how sales works. Don't you know? Didn't you guys read the memo on that? DJ's here. Andrew Stewart. Oh, I did that one. Money Romeo's here. Money Romeo, did I get you a code? I think I did. I have you on the list, but I can't remember if I got you a code or not. But anyway, check it. And if you got one, be like, I got it. And then I can cross it off there. Scott Pollen, results from recent SpaceX Starship launch are looking promising. Ground stage fared well and booster performed much better than Test 1. Interesting, we are not hearing about Starship. It took damage. Starship itself, I mean, you can look at the various Starships lined up from the manufacturing process. There has been no care taken as to the thermal tiles on those things. My guess is they just kind of, they're using them all disposable until they get more data or something, but they are not building them as if they are reusable. They're kind of like, meh. Like, you know, a community theater production, right? You know, somebody who's an artist and they make some backdrops and you might be like, okay, they're establishing that these people are in a garden, but that garden, it doesn't look that much like a garden. It kind of looks like a garden, but you know, I'm going to suspend my belief in reality here, and just assume like, okay, they're in a garden. We're good. We got that. They painted some flowers. They painted some hedges. They painted a tree. The couple on stage, they're pretending like they're in a garden. I'm going to suspend my belief and I'm going to follow along. The thermal tiles on the SpaceX rockets looked like they were put together by the backstage techs at a community theater production. They do not look like they're put together with precision or engineering in mind. It's like, oh yeah, there's some thermal tiles. Good enough. We're just gonna hit the self-destruct sequence when it gets to 8 miles up anyway. So that's what it looks like to me. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find them. It was on Twitter when I was pointing out before, and all that stuff's been deleted. So Starships thermal tiles images. Where were the pictures? They're all like misaligned and crap. Was it these ones? No. These guys? Where are they? It was like a series of like 3 of the rockets lined up next to each other, and the thermal tiles just looked like the most janky, misaligned. Here we go. Here's one. Where are you? Where are you? Why don't you show? Okay, you click on your thing and then you don't have a picture for me? Okay, here we go. So, see these guys here, these tiles. Now, you don't want tiles sitting up so that they're like an inch higher than their neighbors or an inch lower than your neighbors. This is how shuttle crews die. When you have misalignments like this is how a tile on reentry, when it's going 17,000 miles an hour when it reenters into the atmosphere, this creates a whole bunch of drag and cause this tile to fly up and fly off. If one of these tiles flies up and flies off, right, then all of a sudden you have a point in the hull that can melt a giant hole into it and then vent everybody into the upper atmosphere while the ship tears apart. This is absolutely garbage quality. If I were an astronaut and I saw this on the side of my ship, I'd be like, I'm not going up in that thing. You are going to build it right before I go up on that. This would not pass muster with NASA to be approved for human spaceflight. This is really terrible. Really, really terrible. And I think the ships that they have, they're not reusable. I think that they kind of like, put the tiles on there or whatever. We'll figure out later. We're testing right now. And the current batch of starships they have are not going to be expected to ever come back to Earth in one piece. I don't know when they're going to make one that's of quality, but at the moment, that's not it. That's not what you want to be looking for. There's an incredible amount of force and heat generated when something going 17,000 miles an hour re-enters the atmosphere, and those titles will not hold up to that at all. So I expect, they're going to launch a couple more. They're all going to blow up in the atmosphere before they actually build one to the standard that they should be built to and look for the landing on it. But I would be a nervous Nelly if I had to be an astronaut in one of those things, or an entire community being sent to Mars to go. Yikes. I'm fine down here. Whenever did you find out the cash offering for BBYQ is taxable? I have not. I don't know. Anybody's a tax expert, by all means, throw it in there. Yep. Scott Paul makes sense. Don't need to worry about landing the thing if they can't get into orbit yet. Exactly. Says 54. Yes, Kissinger's dead. Hope he's nice and toasty wherever he went. Yeah. I mean, the fact that the U.S. government never turned Kissinger over to like The Hague is, I think, a failure. It'd be like, how everyone wants the Palestinians, like, you must deny Hamas and tell Hamas they're assholes. The entire world should ask Americans whenever they see us, like, hey, do you support Kissinger or is he an asshole? An asshole. In order for us to be like allowed to any country we go around the world. Kissinger was a terrible, terrible human being. The Anthony Bourdain quote, which was like, you cannot visit Cambodia and not leave there wanting to beat Kissinger to death with your bare hands. The millions of people that man's policies resulted in just genocide in multiple countries. East Timor, Bangladesh, Cambodia, Chile. Augusto Pinochet, who is probably the most powerful fascist of the post-World War II era. Like, the guy just disappeared people. We overthrew a democratically elected government because they're a little bit left. We overthrew a democratically elected government, put in a fascist dictator who then just dropped 30,000 people out of helicopters. It's just bullshit. It's I'll speak ill of the dead. Kissinger was a piece of crap. That guy, hope he's rotting in hell. Like, that's the only thing that makes me religious is the hope that Kissinger is rotting in hell. Apparently I'm getting a warning that my video is terrible, but I've warned my roommate that I'm doing a show, so I gotta pay a rent. Yeah. All right. Mayo, how can we secure the blue sheets at MMTLP before FINRA deletes them? We have to let Congress or the judge know that this is a FINRA plan stalling until they can delete them. I think that should be something that's noted. I think if the members of the Congress and Senate who are currently helping us try to get to the bottom of what happened with FINRA and MMTLP, if they like put on record like, hey guys, I know you're trying to stall because as of like December 12th, 2025 or 2024, you can delete all this information and be like, we don't have it anymore. So we want you to maintain all this data. Maintain it. There's a subpoena. The subpoena says maintain all this information. So hopefully they will, because right now, any trading data that happened this time in 2021, right? 2021 is October 6th, 2021 is when FINRA approved the falsified documents from GTS and Concord Genuity to make the untradeable preferred share tradable. They said, oh yeah, the company said it's cool, we're fine, and submitted a whole bunch of fake data and data from years ago on the company. If FINRA went, okay, you can trade it, and they started trading it. So we're already, almost 2 months removed from that. Data's probably been deleted already. We're already missing data from when FINRA basically enabled fraud by these two market makers. So expect every day they're happily shredding that documentation while they can, whenever they can. And what are you going to do? Throw them all in prison, hopefully. I don't know. Scott Pollan, maybe if SpaceX goes public, they'll promote the gal that currently runs run the place to CEO, and Elon can retire to the board. We could hope. Oh, Watt DC went in here and gave some gifts. Fantastic. Brenda, Queen of Swords. Brenda, you still owed a code from last month. Alex F., Jason Blackwell, Lee Law, Fred Jones, Jethro, Critchy Chris, Sinet East, Stephen Taylor, and Fer Garcia. One thing I like about when someone does the membership gifts is I get to see who lurkers are. Because there's a certain number of you guys that every show I'll see you in the chat. There's a lot of people who are never in the chat, and I always like seeing, like, I've never seen that name come across the screen before. Critchy Chris, Sinet East, Stephen Taylor. Who are you? Who are you people? But welcome. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. System 54, what's going on with Securities and Exchange Commission versus Jarsky? The case before the Supreme Court seems like another way to defang the SEC. Is that the one that says that because they aren't like in the Constitution, they aren't allowed to do anything? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Versus Jarkisi. The case that could destroy the government. That's a good way to put it. Was a bunch of fringe legal theory now stands a real chance of being adopted by the Supreme Court. It's from Monday from The Atlantic. This Wednesday, the Supreme Court will hear a case that poses the most direct challenge yet to the legitimacy of the modern federal government. The right-wing legal movement target is the administrative state, the agencies and institutions that set standards for safety in the workplace, limit environmental hazards and damage, and impose rules on financial markets to ensure the stability and basic fairness, among many other important things. The case, Securities Exchange Commission versus Jarkisi, threatens all of that. Terrifyingly, this gambit might succeed. The case involves a garden variety securities fraud. George R. Jarkisi Jr., a right-wing activist and conservative radio talk show host, ran a pair of investment funds with $24 million in assets, but he misrepresented how the funds were run, paid himself and his partner exorbitant fees, and inflated the assets' value. As punishment, the SEC fined him several $100,000 and prohibited him from working in some of the parts of the securities industry. Very standard stuff. Jarkisi responded with what can be described only as chutzpah. He didn't just contest the SEC's ruling. He alleged that the SEC's entire process against him was unconstitutional. Among other things, he asserted that Congress never had the authority to empower the SEC, and that the SEC adjudicator who punished him was too independent from presidential control. Oh, great. Now I've got to can I put this in 12-foot.io? Because now I'm getting paid walled. Copy 12-foot.io. Let's see if I can get it. Boom, boom. Oh, there we go. All right. May of last year, Jarkisi's arguments were accepted by two judges on the conservative Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in a 2-1 decision. The court agreed with Jarkisi, all but ruling the SEC's entire existence unconstitutional. The opinion was so extreme that Judge W. Eugene Davis, twice appointed by Republican presidents and elevated to the appeals court by Ronald Reagan, dissented vigorously. Cherkessy's most far-reaching constitutional argument is built on the non-delegation doctrine, which holds that there may be some limits on the kinds of power that Congress can give to agencies. Cherkessy argues that when Congress gave the SEC the power to decide whether to bring enforcement actions in court or in front of independent agency adjudicator, it gave away a core legislative function and thus violated the doctrine and engaged in an unconstitutional delegation. Now, to editorialize, every agency there is was created by Congress and granted the powers to do whatever it is they do bureaucratically, enforcement-wise, etc. Because there's no way you can have like 100 senators investigating independent fraud on the markets and then have the 100 senators then deal with it. We don't have a system set up for that. No system is set up for that. This is why the government was created, in order to pass laws, to establish agencies and enforcement and regulations. Basically, if this Supreme Court case rules in Cherkessy's favor, the economic crashes of 1929 and prior, which basically happen every decade, we will be eating each other. This is yet another far-right scheme to basically create a lawless Mad Max world at any cost. And I'm not looking forward to that terrifyingly horrible future that they're going to create. Not long ago, a lawyer would have laughed out of court for making such non-delegation claims. Today, they have a good chance of destroying the federal government administrative capacity, taking down its ability to protect Americans' health and safety while unleashing a fraud in the financial markets. Whether Congress's grant of authority to the SEC was constitutional should not be close to question. Congress has delegated expansive authority to government agencies since the dawn of the Republic. Only twice in American history has the Supreme Court concluded that a delegation to an agency ran afoul of the Constitution. Both those times, nearly 90 years ago, involved unusual statutes, but nothing like this one. The SEC was created as an independent agency in 1934 after the financial crash of 1929 to thwart the sort of market manipulation that preceded the Great Depression. Congress has granted it additional powers over the years to continue protecting financial markets, responding to a catastrophe, and guarding against market manipulation is exactly the kind of work that Congress should empower the executive branch to do. Requiring Congress to legislate in response to every new fraud some crook might dream up would not be a good use of its time, and there's no reason to think that delegating authority to police markets runs afoul of the Constitution. This was, of course, irrelevant to the conservative judges who heard Cherkessy's appeal. The Fifth Circuit majority concluded that Congress acted unconstitutionally without an intelligible principle by letting the SEC choose where to bring its enforcement actions. But of course, statutes routinely leave prosecutors and other enforcement agencies the discretion over how to proceed in their cases, without raising delegation concerns. And for more than 75 years, the Supreme Court has recognized that other agencies can decide how to proceed in their local policy-making activities, whether via case-by-case adjudications or general rule-making, for example, without even hinting at any delegation problems. So basically, if they rule that the SEC is not constitutional, then any agency who regulates or monitors anything is no longer constitutional. So say goodbye to food safety, say goodbye to worker safety. You know, like, hey, go into that coal mine and get me some coal. Like, I don't have a light or a helmet. Don't care. Get in there. This is we're kind of yeah. So anyway, read up on this thing. This is bad for everybody, especially bad for us, because fraud is already bad enough because the SEC is completely underfunded and full of like folks who bounce back and forth in the private sector and public sector to, you know, make things as shitty as possible. And this is going to make it even worse, because then it'll be like, hey guys, do whatever you want, because, you know, all the cops quit. We're screwed. So yes, it's definitely a way of defanging the SEC and every other agency out there. Can you imagine? Okay. If you have a Netflix account, go watch Poisoned. My friend, Bill Marler, he is probably the most preeminent lawyer in the country when it comes to food safety. He came to prominence during the 1990s Jack in the Box E. coli thing, where Jack in the Box poisoned thousands of people with E. coli by not cooking their burgers properly and having like shitty burgers. And then people like, they lost their kidneys and kids died and all sorts of horrible stuff. Since then, he's been sort of like the legal expert on food safety. So there's a documentary that kind of talks about this. And John Oliver also did a great show on food safety, showing that the FDA and USDA are kind of like screwed, that they need to make like one solid agency that can monitor food safety because they just don't have the manpower to do it. But okay, I want you to imagine, right, that you go out to dinner, you go to a fast food restaurant, you go to the grocery store, you get something that's tainted with E. coli, Listeria, Trichinosis, Salmonella, whatever. And you're really ill. You go to the hospital and you lose a gallbladder, you lose a kidney, you lose a liver, whatever. You're fucked. And you're on dialysis or something for the rest of your life. And it's going to cost a fortune to keep you alive. And you can't work anymore. You're on disability, blah, 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 blah. But you find out that the company who sold that tainted product to you never did a recall. It was never in the news. The government never talked about it. You're not alone. You're one of like millions upon millions of people who are now disabled by this common food product. And there was no effort made by anyone in our society to ensure that this tainted food product didn't get out there. Not only that, but the company that made the tainted food product, they spun off a subsidiary that's responsible for the tainted food product. And they're like, we don't own it anymore. We're no longer part of it. So if you wanted to sue for damages, you'd be suing a shell company that no longer exists. And there'd be no trail for you to go back and like get Tyson Foods or Foster or American Beef or whatever, whoever made the Chiquita banana, I don't know, whoever made that horrible thing happen. This ruling would obliterate safety in the United States. It would make it illegal for there to be a National Highway Safety Board. So all of a sudden regulations for things like seatbelts and airbags and horns and headlights, those are out the window. You can't regulate that anymore because only individual members of Congress can investigate these things and then levy fines and take that stuff to court. Like that is not how things should be running. So welcome to absolute fresh hell if Jarkisi wins in the Supreme Court. It'd be nice knowing you guys. We'll all die of like food poisoning and, I don't know, airbags that have broken glass in them or something. Whenever Mayo had another delicious bacon chicken ranch poutine from Harvey's today. Okay. All right. Andrew Stewart, Scott Pollen. If you need a cool shirt for a show, let me know, Houston. Let me know. Houston, let me and Houston know. You'll get something sharp and snazzy to wear. Yeah, if you want to wear a bitchin' shirt when we do our interview post the 15th. Well, it'll probably be post 17th because I'll be in Miami then. Speaking of Miami, I'm stoked. So my dad was born in Miami. My sister, the captain, was born in Miami. I haven't been to Miami since I was like 10 months old, so I have no memory of being in Miami. But I got to learn a whole bunch of stuff this week about my grandfather and my great-grandfather. My grandfather, Lee Wade, and my great-grandfather, Andrew Bird Wade. Lee Wade was an architect. Andrew Bird Wade was a builder. And in Coconut Grove and Coral Gables, they designed and built like all the mansions. they were the guys behind it all. And Arthur, oh crap, what's his name? Arthur Vining Davis, who was like a big time cajillionaire. He was, a robber baron back in the day, that my grandfather designed and my great grandfather built his gigantic mansion in Coral Gables. And so I guess apparently it's something you can tour. And so I might be able to go and like see what my grandfather and great grandfather designed and built. That'd be kind of neat. So that's one of the nerd things I'm going to try and do while I'm down in Florida because I've been there since I was 10 months old. Right, monkey? She's sitting here. She's looking at me, wagging her tail, looking at this food, looking at the food, looking at the food. You know that like we get an hour into the show and that's when you can start staring at me, right? That's when you can just stare me down and then all of a sudden I'm going to feel guilty and I'm going to give you whatever you want. Is that what you've concluded? Huh? Yeah, you little stinker. You're doing it so much better if you just lay down and then I just crinkle it and then you get surprised. That's what we should have. Okay. Want to see what size is Houston and how do I send shirts? Large works fine. Unless it's like some shirt that was purchased in the Philippines or something, then I'm probably much larger than a regular large. But American large works fine. If you want to send me cool shirts, I love receiving shirts. The description below, the P.O. Box. P.O. Box 4645, Rollingbay, blah, 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 blah. That's send me shirts. I will always take free shirts, right, Monkey? And Stinky Chicken. We'll take free shirts and Stinky Chicken. That's what Monkey has decided. Oh, is that a good ear scratch? Look at your face. Oh, make that groan. Do it again. Oh, yeah. Dogs just, what is it about their ear holes that just need scratching so bad? Nick Houston, what's on your Christmas list this year? I'm looking for ideas for my son and husband. What's on the Christmas list, Monkey? Oh, Stinky Chicken. Is that's on the Christmas list? Okay, Stinky Chicken's on the Christmas list. Man. Hilarious boxers. all my good novelty boxer shorts I think they're wearing thin. I need some new ones. I don't know. Homeboy doesn't need much. A new truck. That'll work. Santa Claus, you want to bring me a new Mitsubishi Montero so I can take all the cool shit off my old one and finally get that thing running again? That'd be fantastic. Yeah. So I'm pretty easy when it comes to like Christmas time. Clothes are great. Clothing Houston, getting them fresh pants and underwear and socks, t-shirts, that stuff is all fantastic. I'm a big fan of like nice fluffy wool socks that I can use while I'm like up in the mountains. I'm a simple creature. I don't know what your husband and son are into. I'm awful. I'm so happy when anyone gives me anything. and I like it when it's like something I don't expect. I'm like, oh my goodness, a box of sponges? Woohoo! I never in a million years would have thought about that. My mom was really good at care packages when I was in college because going to school in Hawaii, weird things are expensive. Like Honey Nut Cheerios were prohibitively expensive for a college student. And it was cheaper for my mom to buy a box of Honey Nut Cheerios, put them into a flat rate box and ship them to me than it was for me to go to the grocery store and purchase them. And like, for some reason, sunscreen. You're in Hawaii, you need to use sunscreen like crazy. Sunscreen was like so expensive, but in Seattle was about a tenth the price. So you just put it in a flat rate box to ship it to me. So she always sent me just great care packages. Usually had like Honey Nut Cheerios, granola bars, sunscreen, and then like a $50 Safeway card or something. And that was perfect. That $50 Safeway card could buy me like a gallon of milk and we were good to go. I could finally eat those Cheerios. Walt the Man in the Middle, have you read The Alchemist? No, I still have The Alchemist right here. I forgot. It was on my list. It was like 5 books away, and now I think I'm 7 books in, and I forgot to do it. So I'm gonna make this one next. This will be the next one. I've had it sitting here trying to remind me to read it for the next book, and then I totally forgot. Sorry. Meow meow. Do you know that the guys who broke into the Watergate Hotel worked for Howard Hughes, and that Nixon was basically owned by Hughes as well? I hadn't heard that part. I thought they were in his White House. But Howard Hughes was a weirdo, that's for sure. We do have a history of weirdo industrialists in this country. And yeah. Dude, you were just addicted to earhole scratching, aren't you? Sujo, Houston, what's up, man? Any news in the S1? No news in the S1, Sujo. How much longer do you think it will take realistically this year or next year? I'm hoping this year. I have no idea what tax implications are for next year, if continuity is maintained after the new year. I don't know. I'm thinking that what needs to happen is BBBY, Butterfly, needs to be named as the plaintiff in the Pump and Dump lawsuit. And then they can just terminate that thing, get it over with. And once that thing's terminated over with, they can issue new equity. They can do the credit bid. They can do all the fancy stuff that they've been dreaming of and waiting to do. And I think that the speed bump has been that lawsuit, and that they now have a solid plan to get rid of it and be done with it. So yeah, that's what we're waiting on. But when you see me pop that Martinelli's, you'll know that there's been an S1 or equivalent filed somewhere. It makes you go, woo! Until then, that sucker's just going to chill and sit there. And I may never have Martinelli's again if nothing happens. Okay. Romeo, my crystal globe says jumping burger tonight. Intro tonight. You got it. Well, to see, I can't stay long, but hey, Houston, what you know about them bullet swaps you see on the restream? I know that there's gajillions of them out there, and a whole bunch of them are coming due. Beyond that, there's so many different kinds of swaps and ways to hide all of this debt. And then you use the swaps as collateral on other crap that you do, and it just compounds. But the intricacies of it, no. I just know they've been bouncing around various like holdings companies and funds and stuff around the world, and it's just a game of hot potato. That's where we are. Suljo, if it runs the next year, can we still use the NOLs, or will too much time have gone by to use? Is there even time to limit on NOL use? There's no time limit on NOL use, but I don't know if it will be considered a going concern if they go into the new year, or if the fiscal year for it would start when bankruptcy started, or I don't know, or liquidation started, etc. I'm not familiar enough on that to give any concrete answer. I would say that I think everyone involved would rather have this done sooner than later. I would like to have had this done a month ago, so that it gives me time to hunt down and vet attorneys and CPAs, and because right now as a poor person they're not going to talk to me, but as a rich person they're going to be bending over backwards to cater to my needs. So I don't know. I hope soon, before the year ends. La 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 la. Right, monkey. She has not stopped locking eyes with me this entire time. So, right, monkey. Stephanie L. Ooh, coordinates. Here we go. 34. Looks like California. An old mining town where the dead were cremated in the blast furnaces and their ashes dumped into slag piles, which were later used for concrete aggregate in the sidewalks. Oh, baby, that sounds sexy. Let's Google Earth it. Where'd you go, Google Earth? There we go. Come on, move screens. There we go. We got the dinosaurs still. Dinosaurs from yesteryear. Across the country. Slap down the west. Shaboink. Which town is this? Oh, Jerome, Arizona. Silvertown. Jerome was a silver and copper town. Jerome's a really cool place. And it was really, really, really cool about 20 years ago when it was really a ghost town. But a whole bunch of artists have moved in there. We got the Gold King Mine in Ghost Town. Sweet. It's a really neat town to drive through. I recommend people drive through and stop. It's actually kind of a vibrant little place, but it was a ghost town. It was when I first went to Jerome, would have been Christmas 1995. Yeah, 1995. And there was no residents in Jerome back then. I mean, we went through and it was just abandoned. Everything was abandoned. But now there's like little artist communities, and you can see on this, there's cars. There's like a little industry of ghost townness has popped up. It's quite a few mines. You can see there's some of the tailings piles. Here is the old pit for the mine. Gold King Ghost Town, which it's got a whole bunch of cars for a ghost town, so it's not really a ghost town anymore. It's now a tourist trap. But yeah, that sounds cool. You burn them in the oven, and then you turn them into sidewalks, and they last forever. It's pretty cool. So let's see here. Go from Jerome. Keep ready, flower pot. Prescott. So Prescott is where my older sister Ashley lives. So she's here, and there's all sorts of cool mining stuff. The stream by her mother. We have different moms. Her mother has a gallery that is Farmers Market, Southwest Prescott, YMCA. Okay, I gotta figure out where I am on the. I think it's this creek. Might be this creek right here. Maybe the one that goes under the highway. But one of those, her neighbor pulled out a 2-ounce gold nugget out of the stream, just walking by and saw, oh, it looks like a piece of gold. Picked it up and it was a 2-ounce nugget worth thousands of dollars. So yeah, you can find all sorts of stuff here. Thumb Butte, which is that Thumb Butte? Oh, no, it's Thumb Butte somewhere on the edge of town. I can't remember which side of town. I just want to say it's down here somewhere. I took a cactus under my pointer finger my freshman year of high school and went under the nail. I'll just make me large here. It went under the nail, so you can see this black line all the way into the end of the nail, and I couldn't get it out. And anything I touched, I poked. Someone would look at a map like, "Where's that thing?" I go right there. Oh my god, it hurts so much. For like a year, I had this weird black line from a huge cactus thorn that went in there. And then one day I woke up and it was just gone. One day my body was like, I'm going to absorb this and it will be no more. There you go. Random Arizona stories. But Stephanie, that's heavy metal. That's heavy metal indeed. Whatever, Mayo. Houston, do you think No Labs will drop a little bit in the future? Maybe around earnings? I'm planning to put some in my RRSP and brand new FHSA. I wouldn't doubt, because the earnings are not going to be good, right? They don't have a product to sell yet. So the earnings are going to be like, hey, we spent a bunch of money, so we have nothing but losses. That's what the earnings are going to be. So, Monkey Butt, stop being such a weirdo. Stop being such a weirdo. Huh? Stop being such a weirdo. So yeah, you might get some. But of course, then maybe they'll buffet their earnings with, hey, we've passed phase 3 trials and we're going to be applying for FDA next year. I think the document they had said FDA, they're looking at FDA filings for September of next year. So it's coming. It's coming. It's going to come on us faster than we thought. So what's really weird is, so we had Ron on, March last year, talk about No Labs doing non-invasive glucose monitoring. We have my brother, who was at the company we can't talk about, who's doing non-invasive glucose monitoring. I just discovered that my cousin, her partner, PhD in optics, owned a company that was focused on non-invasive glucose monitoring before his startup got bought by another larger company. So in my orbit, I have 3 of the greatest experts on the potentiality of non-invasive glucose monitoring, which is quite wild. Right, Kitty? Don't you think that's crazy? You probably need non-invasive glucose monitoring because you're a fat ass. Yeah. I wouldn't doubt if you get diabetic on top of everything else because you're just a chunk, man. Oh, you can see the red in his fur with the monkey cam. Such a good little cat. Yes, you are. You're going to fall if you try to go there. So just give it up. Just, yeah. Enjoy the armrest. There you go. I got your friend, Aloha from Wahoo, delivering in the dark. What's the good news, HW? The good news is the filings, the release docket filings look really delicious. That's the good news. And also, I got your friend, you have check the Reddit. You have a code coming your way for Blue Sky. First day, I missed one. Belgian Whale made 3,000 options with his run-up. First decent win. I'm going to buy some IEP and more April options for Q4. GME earnings when the price drops again. There you go. Good job, Belgian Whale. There's a few of you who made good earnings. Perforly Stupid is the one at fault for crashing the price for you, though. Sean Towns, listening to that reasoning of sending swaps all over. Teddy books have made me jacked on Toys R Us. You think toys can be protected by ASX from Wall Street? Well, if anything, it'll be a definite squeeze play. Uh, so if Toys R Us are part of this whole, reverse merger SPAC thing that Butterfly can become, we got a squeaker going. Oh, got a squeaker. Um, that it will be something the price will absolutely rocket on. So if they're doing a reverse merger into Butterfly, they issue its equity in Toys R Us as a result, and then they announce that there's going to be sale of equity to the market at the market prices upon when they deliver these shares. That price could squeeze. They could sell a million or two shares into the market and not really affect what the flow would be and make a fortune off of it. They would have so much money on hand, they wouldn't need to worry about loan facilities and leverage buyouts, and it would be a very, very strong position for Toys R Us. And remember, Toys R Us is owned by Macy's, but one of the major players in it who did the credit bid on Toys R Us assets was a Carl Icahn. So I think it can be delicious. I don't know. I don't know what the connection can be for Toy RF in Australia and what Toys R Us would be here. Not a clue. I have no idea how that would work out. I had no idea how extra national corporations that may be loosely tied to the IP here in America are related in that. I don't know. I'm sure you'd have to ask Carl Icahn to figure out what's going on there, right? You're such a good little armrest cat. The armrest is like this wide, and this cat is just cool. Right, buddy? Yeah. Oh, look at that little, we got a comfy little cat. Oh, it's so good. Yes. Normally just a blob on the ottoman there, but no, here you're hanging out, getting all the scratches. Look at this. Look at the happy little guy. Oh, here's a little fat tub. Yeah. Okay. And the thing says celebrate first super chat from Sean Towns. Yay! Celebrate the first super chat from Sean Towns. Fantastic. Thank you. Cannot wait to shave this mustache off. The whole face is so itchy. How do people grow beards? Like, I get 2 weeks in and I just have to shave it off because it is so itchy. And I just can't imagine surviving this until it's longer. Okay, Frozen State Productions. UBS has a $250 swap due in December. Are they responsible for the entire sum or percentage? Will they collapse? Why aren't Swiss fleeing from the bank? That swap is the weirdest thing in the entire world. 999 quadrillion. The par value is 15 cents on the dollar. So $149 trillion. Like the number is so large that people were mistaking referring it to a $999 billion swap. No. There's a whole other comma in there, man. It's quadrillion. It's a $250. $999 trillion. It just seems so otherworldly that my brain can't process what on earth it could possibly mean. Like, it just seems like fake. Like it's just fake numbers. What, how, why, right? You okay over there? All right, let's make sure. Okay. I don't know, man. It's weird. Money may recently woke up from nap, accidentally had a sip of Gatorade, and now I'm hyper and can't shut the fuck up. And I'm an hour and a half behind the chat, so we're okay. Frozen State Productions, what is the next best sci-fi show to watch after The Expanse? I mean, I put my favorites up there. Battlestar Galactica, the Edward James Olmos one. Firefly. Any Star Trek you can pick. All the Star Treks. Once I'm done with my rewatch of Next Generation, I'm in season 4 right now. I'm going to do a rewatch of Deep Space Nine. God, beard's so itchy. Just feels so good to scratch it. Who else do I put in there? Red Dwarf. Red Dwarf is one of the most brilliant sci-fis ever made. Who else, buddy? No, it's really like Sci-Fi wise. The first season of Altered Carbon was fantastic. Second season, meh. But first season was just amazing. Who else has really tickled my fancy? Sci-Fi show wise. Squeaker now sounds like she's dying when she's chewing on it. Sujo, what happens if the swaps just don't get paid and the 12/15 deadline? I don't know if I already asked this. Thanks, Houston. Margin calls and liquidations, I assume. That would be my guess. I don't know who would be doing the margin calls and liquidations. I don't know who's the parent of it. Who's like, you have to get liquidated. I'm not sure who would make that call. But it's freaky that there's a quadrillion dollar swap that no one wants, and it expires in 2 weeks. That's just weird. So I guess we'll see what happens from the beach in Miami. I will have to do a show in Miami because then I can make things a tax write-off. So I probably won't do one on Wednesday the 13th or on the 14th, which is the day of the hangout party thing. So maybe we'll do on the 15th. We'll see what's happened with those swaps and if the world ended or something. But it just seems like such a fantastically fake number. It's a quadrillion? Like, come on, man. Can't you come up with something reasonable? Daniel Batchelor, Houston, don't need a Blue Sky code. You hooked me up a few months ago. I thought so. Okay. So, Daniel Batchelor. That's Daniel Motes. Daniel Batchelor. Okay. Put that there. A star next to it. Word. Thank you, my man. Curtis Edmond, how's it, Houston? What's the latest with our favorite stock? I hope you are cracking Martinelli soon with BBY News Share. Aloha from the Gathering Island. I think we went through it. One of the latest that's happening right now. Meow Meow Farscape is the best sci-fi show. GG Edgley was too hot. I never watched Farscape. I guess I'll have to watch Farscape. I never watched it. So that and Babylon 5, never really watched those. Those are beyond me. I never got around to them. Frozen State Productions, what is your reoccurring dream or nightmare? Being ex-military, often have dreams of combat, but recently I'm having a lot of music-themed dreams with bands like Chevelle or rehearsal dreams. I haven't had a nightmare since I was probably 6 years old. I just haven't. I've had anxiety dreams, like you find out at the end of the quarter that you got into a class you're waitlisted on in the finals tomorrow. I'm like, oh crap. I didn't know I was supposed to be there this entire time. I've also had anxiety dreams from restaurants. I had one when I used to work at this waterfront pub. I had a dream where they opened up another waterfront pub like in Bellevue or something. And like, you're the most experienced person. You need to go over there and set up the restaurant and like make sure that people run it the way we like our pubs run. Like, no problem. And I go over there. It's opening day. I've staffed everything. We're good to go. And everything's going smoothly. And then like 2 hours into the restaurant being open, someone's like, hey, there's like 50 people at tables downstairs and there's no servers. They've just been sitting there for like 2 hours and no one's come to get them water or take their order. And I was like, there's a downstairs? I didn't know I was supposed to staff a downstairs. And so that's restaurant anxiety dream. But when I was a wee little kid, I did have a recurring nightmare for quite a few years. And it was like the same nightmare over and over, and it made no sense. There's a field, and the field's and the dream was all black and white. There was no color to it. The field is about football field size, but it wasn't grass. It was like gray felt, like the tabletop for a pool table. Kind of is all felt. And there's all these like, in the field is ringed with trees. There's trees that go all the way around. And then there's just like a void beyond the trees. It's just, you have like one row of trees around it and then just nothingness. And there were lots of couches and coffee tables and recliners kind of evenly distributed throughout this felt field. And then there'd be this gigantic, we're talking like 700-pound fat lady, buck ass naked. I'm like 4 years old and I've got this like big saggy titted buck ass naked lady who's got a huge syringe and she's just chasing me around. She's not saying a word. She's just like hurtling these couches and chairs, and I'm a 4-year-old. I'm like desperately trying to like climb over the couches and get away from her, and she is determined to just stab me with this thing. And I had that weird dream. It made no sense to me then. It makes no sense to me now. I don't know why my brain conjured this up at 4 years old, but for like 3 years, almost nightly, I had this same nightmare over and over again, and then one day just didn't have it anymore, and I've never had it since. But I had it so many times, it's kind of like ingrained into my memory core. And that's the only nightmare I think I've ever had, and to this point, the only nightmare I've ever had. So, yeah, that's it. None of my dreams like me kicking ass and life is awesome. That's normally what happens in my dreams. My dreams are just like a fantasy world of like, oh yeah, things are fantastic, and it's my subconscious. I don't know, trying to make life worth living or something. I don't know. Stephanie L. This month in California, the nation's first commercial direct air carbon capture plant went live. Really? We have one. It was the same. It's the same guys that did the one in Squamish. California carbon capture plant. Carbon capture removal. California Air Resources Board administration. New California carbon capture project. That's from July. Excuse me. Here's NPR. Sweet. What do you got from NPR? Look at the first commercial direct air carbon capture plant in the U.S. Give myself like the hiccups. This month in California, the nation's first commercial direct air carbon capture plant went live. Climate experts say the technology has its limits. The country's first commercial direct air capture facility opened in Central California earlier this month. The technology pulls pollution that causes global warming out of the air and stores it. The federal government is investing in this technology to help address climate change, but climate experts say it has limits. There are different approaches to direct air carbon capture, but the California facility opened by a company called Heirloom Carbon Technologies works like this. Inside the facility, there are 40-foot tall stacks of trays holding hydrated calcium oxide. It's a chemical compound that naturally bonds with carbon dioxide drifting through the building. Once the calcium oxide and carbon come together, they become limestone. This process happens naturally, but here it is sped up. And while the process takes months, if not years, if you do nothing to the process, you've now accelerated that down to just 3 days. Matt Schulten is the head of commercialization at Heirloom. He says the carbon dioxide, which contributes to climate change, will later be extracted from the limestone and stored permanently in concrete. Okay. Facility, when fully built out, will be capable of capturing up to 1,000 tons of CO2 per year. Oh, that's not much at all. Like your car produces like 1,000 tons. I mean, okay. Let's see here. 1,000 tons is about 1 million pounds. Let's calculate. Let's go to the calculator app real quick. Let's do some boom, boom, calculator. Okay. So 1 million pounds. All right. Divide that by 18 pounds, and we are at 55,000 gallons of gasoline. So that's the amount of carbon produced by 55,000 gallons of gasoline. Divide that by 20, and that gets us 2,777 cars. So that's 2,000 cars. Think of your neighborhood, right? Everyone in the neighborhood fills up a tank of gas. It has removed the carbon produced by all the cars in your neighborhood for one tank of gas. That's kind of piss poor numbers, man. Those are rookie numbers. You got to up those numbers because 2,700 cars can produce 1 million pounds of CO2. All right, cool. That's, I should double it. So it's maybe 5,000 cars because I forgot it'd be 2 million pounds. Yeah, so 5,000 cars, 2 neighborhoods worth of cars. Make those numbers bigger, better, more powerful. Okay, you're being a weirdo again. Money over Mayo heard that a big number of UBS swaps is not that important. The important thing is that the swap is netting in between those financial products, and the sum total can be a realistic number. I don't know enough about them to say one way or the other. Christopher Stedman, mahalo for Kukua. Thank you. Money over Mayo says try Alter Carbon series. Yeah, the first season Alter Carbon is just was so good. Phil, purportedly stupid, let us know when you buy puts. Kelly Reed, make no mistake, they've been easing us into the idea of a major catastrophe for the past 3 years. Pretty soon it's going to be, well, we're in it for a hard landing, but our financial system will be fine. Leading to, there's a possibility that our system is going to, oh, dang it, and then just reset. Gosh, dang it. And we're like an hour behind. I don't know if we'll find it again. Will we find it again? There it is. Okay. Leading to, there's a possibility our system is going to collapse. And then finally, all you plebes are fucked. Thanks for playing. And the apes will have to help rebuild post-MOAS. Yeah. First Day Productions. I get a lot of famous people following me on X who can't spell their name correctly. Also on Blue Sky, I'm getting babies with large breasts following who follows you on various social media platforms. I got normal people on Blue Sky for the past several months. And then about 2 weeks ago, someone let a whole bunch of like porn bot accounts in. And all of a sudden I got followed by like 20 different porn bots all in one day. And then they all vanished. So I think the mods went through and was like, delete, 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 and took care of them. But yeah, for the most part, the folks who follow me on Blue Sky are you guys. And every once in a while, I make a good quip and then some other weirdos follow me. But it's not been as large of an audience as I had on Twitter, that's for sure. I mean, Twitter had 8,000 something people. I think I've got a couple hundred on Blue Sky so far. But yeah, it'll get there someday. It'll get there. MNF Houston went to Whistler last week since you were talking about so much about the place. Beautiful place. Went for a walk at 7 a.m. No one outside. Peaceful. Someone told me there are lots of bears. Oh, there are lots of bears. But the bears are starting to go to sleep right now. The only time I've ever seen bears is when I've been up there in the spring or summer. And then there are a lot of them. I went spring skiing once in high school. And there was like a bear fight under the chairlift as we were going up Blackcomb. We're going up and there's just like two bears just kicking the shit out of each other, which is pretty amazing. And we got it on video. My friend Brian had his like Sony Handycam 8mm DVS thing. And I don't know if Brian still has that footage, but yeah, bears are kicking the shit out of each other. That was pretty awesome to see. Black bears, not big grizzlies or anything. Michael McManessian, twiddling thumbs all day, every day. I just hope I'm not at work when things start popping. I got my apple cider chilling too. Yeah, it's a great thing about like, I only work nights, a couple nights a week, and then the rest of the time I'm answering your questions on via DMs. So my days will at least be free. Bex, needs to be a proper wearing shirt, not a streaming shirt. This is a good. Did you send this one to me? Did Avocado send it? Who sent me this one? It's a nice, shiny, silky shirt. It's subtle. It's got some cool little, like, Polynesian-looking doodads and some swirly doos that look like they could be paisleys. That's a good shirt. Guts for the long term. That was amazing yesterday, Houston. Man, I felt so happy about what you guys have managed to do. This is going to make noise again. Nope, that's the wrong one. Shoot, that's not the video one. Oh, almost $8,000. Almost eight. Oh my gosh. I like talk about like having a hard time contemplating what a quadrillion dollars is. I'm having a hard time contemplating that we raised $8,000 for Toys for Tots yesterday, or almost $8,000 for Toys for Tots yesterday. It's blowing my mind. Absolutely. First Day Productions used to that guy for PP Show make that donation, make an even 8 G's. I don't know. Let's see where we are. The last one was Andrew Stewart jumping in there. I accidentally closed the one I had open. So, gotta go there. Then that's live cast. And don't make sound. Don't make sound. Stop. Where are we? We're at 7,860. So we got another $5 donation in there. But not yet. We can get 140 and make an even 8,000 at some point. I might as well pitch it. Like, hey, hit that link. Head on over. We'll make an even $8,000. And remember, Elon Musk showed up in the chat yesterday saying if we eventually raise $7,410, he had a special surprise. So Elon Musk, if you're watching, We're waiting for our special surprise. You promised us one, so hey, let's see what we can do. Let's get that special surprise going. Ba-dum-bum-bum. MNF, where's Elon Musk? I saw him at the PP show and asked him what's up. Dude asked if we passed 7,410. I told him yes. No reply after. Uh-oh. Elon's reneging. That sounds like Elon. I'll stop world hunger. I don't remember saying that ever. Thunderscope. That one's gone. 808 Quail. Happy birthday, Houston. Will shorts be short the same amount on shares on the new issued equities if it's distributed as a 1-for-1? And will they be forced to close positions when they start trading? My guess is yes. If we are legacy holders of the old equity and they issue new equity to us because we're the owners of record, then they are the shorts of record, right? And they too will have liabilities transfer over on that. It happened with Hertz. The shorts had the liabilities when everyone got the new equity, and they had their shares canceled, declared worthless. Happened with American Airlines. Their shares were canceled, declared worthless. They got new equity. Shorts were still responsible. Now, the thing is, how much liabilities will they have? Will it be $15 a share plus equity in one company, equity in 2 companies, 3 companies, 4 companies, 7 companies? Their liability could shoot into the hundreds of dollars per share like that. So if it's that juicy and delicious, I'll take a scoop, right? I asked the guy who's the mod for the BBBY remastered that question today. I was like, entertain me, because you're saying that it's all over, whatever. Let's forget that it's all over. Let's just say hypothetically, right? As the owner of record, they offer cash and equity in a new company, new companies. What would happen to the shorts? And he wouldn't answer me. He'd be like, that's not going to happen. I said, no, we're talking about hypothetical here. Hypothetically, if I am given cash and equity in a new company or companies, the shorts are still responsible for that, correct? That's not a possibility. I'm not going to answer that. I was like, we're talking about hypothetical here, man. Right? That's hypothetically, the shorts sold a whole bunch of shares. People have those shares. When the shares were removed from their accounts, and like in my Fidelity account, it says they're removed due to a reorganization. So there's definitely ownership record there. And the shares are being held for a reorganization, right? So if new equity is distributed to the legacy shareholders, me, I get new shares in that company. Meaning, if of my 15,000 shares, a bunch of them are synthetics, IOUs, right? Then those shares are owed legit equity. And whoever created those IOUs, they are going to have to provide that legit equity for me. Correct. I'm not going to answer that. Like, that's where you fail. That's where these shills fail every single time, is that they seem to insist that it's all over and it's kaput. But if it's all over and it's kaput, then why did they spend $50 million on setting up a credit bid? Why spend that money? You could have just gone Chapter 7, liquidate, be done. It'd be so much cheaper. You wouldn't spend any money on reorganization. It'd just be like, over. But because they were devoted to merger acquisition, preserving NOLs, distributing new equity, right? They spent $50 million in legal fees just dealing with that. They spent more money on legal fees than they got by actually liquidating their assets. Why? Because the NOLs are worth so much. You're looking at close to $10 billion or more in just NOLs on this company. So anyone who takes it, they're going to get those NOLs, and they can make it so juicy to reverse merger in. Every company you know who's made $10 billion or more in profit over the past few years would love to not pay taxes on that and to use it for dividends, reinvesting, research and development, stock buybacks, upgrading stores, making sure they've got cool inventory, all sorts of cool stuff. But no, they're not doing it. No, it's not happening. I had one guy telling me that there's no credit bid. There's none. The plan doesn't allow for a credit bid. And then I pulled up the section that says 363 blah 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 will be honored. Like that right there says there's gonna be a credit bid. No, nope, can't happen. Okay, then how are the creditors gonna be made whole? There's still $1.5 billion in debt, right? And now $10.8 billion just showed up. Okay, how are they gonna be made whole without a credit bid? They're secured creditors, administrative and dip facility secured creditors. They can make a credit bid and say, hey, we'll take this company because you owe us, $12 billion. What do you do? Right? Right, monkey? What do you do? What do you do? They're so one-dimensional, not creative in any way, shape, or form. It's so fun to just call them dumbasses and then be like, "You're so mean." I'm like, yeah, I am. Okay. Scott Lumley, Houston, I still don't have Blue Sky code. May I please have one? Yes, Scott. I think you're on the list. So click on that link. Click on my profile. Send me a message, and we will get you a Blue Sky code. Javier donated anonymously, as well as at least for good cause, tax write-off, GME calls, baby money. Javi, did I have you on the list? I don't think I did. But if you want one, Javi, I think I'll have enough. If you want one, Jamaican, Houston, I saw a $15 thing in Teddy Book. Do you think that would be cash dispersion or a conversion form from previous holdings? I think it'll be cash dispersion. Folks are saying it's a shelf offer, $15. I think it would be cash plus equity for whatever reverse merger they're doing. And they'll send $15 to everyone for every share that they have to obliterate the shorts and to make sure that when the fireworks happen, we aren't too pressured to have to sell, right? Because if you got 10,000 shares in your account, you get sent $150,000, right? You're like, oh, I can sit for a little bit. I'm good. You can make some other plays. You can buy GME, blah, blah, blah. But you aren't like, oh man, I got to pay rent this month. I need to just sell this stock the minute it comes to a certain number. You can be like, oh, I'm good to go. I can wait this out. I can last a month and not have to worry about work or anything. I can just sit here, kick back and relax and watch everything explode. I think it's an absolutely diabolical way to go about it, and sets a floor price that will obliterate the shorts almost immediately, resulting in an immediate squeeze. Because they're not going to have the money to back that up. My throat's getting scratchy. I've been talking too much. Anyway, I hope those kids that we raise money for grow up to be degenerates like us, unwavering conviction. One of us. Hey, I'm back to the start of the show. That's good. All right, so I'm an hour and 30 minutes behind. Good job. Chip Chipperson, we can't insult by biker now, or you're an anti-Semite. Well, it doesn't help if A, you are in trouble for tweeting anti-Semitic things, and then B, tell advertisers to go fuck themselves, and Bob Iger specifically, a prominent Jew. Not the best thing in the world. Like if you're gonna tell a prominent Jew to go fuck themselves, make sure it's Henry Kissinger or Jeffrey Epstein. Those two, fair game. Have at it. Shit on their graves. But like, just because someone is like, hey, you're doing bad things, Elon Musk, and Elon's like, fuck you for telling me I'm doing bad things. That's not the best method to go about it. I truly hope that whenever there's like the rise and fall biopic on Elon Musk, that Judd Apatow produces it, because it's going to be hilarious. It'll be just, oh man, I just picture it just being so funny. Before the stupid, Henry Kissinger had better legs than Hitler, bigger tits than Cher. Source Monty Python. Scott Pollen doing some pretty loud shirts picked up in Spain this year. Maybe one of those will work. Though they are pretty loose and chest hair flows. If you're going to do the chest hair shirt, you got to do a gold chain with it. I think that's the Latin rules. Maui Sam's here. Fantastic. Ideas matter. 7707. Houston. When do you think MMTLP will settle up? Mark says he thinks the next 60 days with backdoor meetings and NDAs being signed. I just don't know. I don't know either. I have no clue because I'm not privy to any of those meetings, any of those NDAs, any of the closed door hearings. All I can say is I think Rosa's appeal is really good in front of a panel of judges, especially a panel of judges who are looking at the Jasarki, Jerkisi stuff, might say, yeah, fuck FINRA. The Fifth Court just said that the SEC is a bogus bullshit thing anyway, so yeah, sue the shit out of them. Do whatever you want. That might work for us in that case. I don't know. But I think she makes a good point that this is a private company who's been endowed with powers by Congress. And we have to be able to separate whether the private company is doing it or the regulatory arm of it is doing it. And if we can't be given the information to tell us one or the other, then what's the point of having Freedom of Information Act requests? What's the point of having an open government if we can have this private corporation who's doing government functions for the government be closed? Like, they get the benefit from the government immunity, and they get to be a private company, doesn't have to show us anything. Like, pick one superpower. You can't have both. Pick one, right? So, I don't know. Robert Manson, I like all the intros, but that intro is badass. Thank you, Alexander K. He might be in the chat tonight. He did a good job on that one. First Day Productions bought a Costco hot dog today for $1.50. Good. The thing about a Costco hot dog is you pay $1.50 for one, and then 6 hours later, every burp still tastes like a Costco hot dog. Doesn't matter what you've had in the meantime. You'll be tasting a Costco hot dog for 24 hours, guaranteed. Wolfie J, you kind of need some updated reading on the shelves. I threw all mine on the fire 5 years ago as it was outdated by a few centuries. Trying the troll side. Okay. All right. Did that change at all? I mean, don't make sound, don't make sound, don't make sound. Nope. No, don't make sound. I said don't make sound. Dang it. Looking to see if we got to $8,000 yet. No, we did not get to $8,000. Oh well. 7860 is a hell of a hill to get to. Scott Paul, are you on the Irvin Finance Terminal? Is that the open source Bloomberg one that's on like GitHub or something? Because if so, I tinkered with it like 8 months ago and then forgot how to get into it. I have to go through the whole rigmarole of learning how to do that again. Brian Murphy's here. MNEF. What are the odds my work will ask me to write a software interface with MCS API? Papa CEO sues them. They make nice APIs though. 50-50? I don't know. Dead base. Ever seen a CLF dribble kick on third down? Makes you question everything you know about football. This Canadian football dribble kick on third down is a rule in football. I think Doug Flutie was the last one to do one in the NFL, but it's a more common thing in the CFL, I guess. So it's when you make a play, so you hike it to the quarterback, and they drop the ball, bounces on the ground, and then you kick it through the field goal, and it scores the same as a touchdown. I think Doug Flutie was the last one to do one in the NFL. Let's see here. Doug Flutie dribble kick. First drop kicks is 1941. So this was 2006. Doug Flutie goes out in style, covering the first drop kick in NFL game since 1941 in his last career game. So there you go. So he did it for the New England Patriots. Yeah, my dad loved those things. Like, he would talk to us about it when we were kids. He'd be like, "You're gonna practice one. You're gonna use it someday." And like, I've never heard of this in my life. And he would drop football, bounce, and then kick it, and get it through the goalposts. Just phenomenal. I would totally play this video clip right now, but I think the NFL will sue the shit out of me if I do. So, but Doug Flutie was Canadian, so there you go. There you go. All right. Sean Towns, Houston, you're up in my friendly neighborhood Aussie here. Oh, I can't read. Your friendly neighborhood Aussie here. I put IEP in my watch list and stake, drive wealth, got paid, went into app to buy some, and it's gone. Must be from dividend? I don't know. Can you buy IEP as an Australian? Because it's a weird equity. It's not technically a share of stock. It's like a what it's called? It's called it's like a equity assurance credit or some weird name like that. And so the other day when someone was asking about the cash offer that was made, that's the dividend. So you can take the cash, take the $1, or you can take another fractional share of their weird equity holding blah 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 thing that is IEP. But yeah, it's not technically a share of stock. It's this other weird security thing that probably only people who were born in 1936 know what the hell's going on when they deal with it. But yeah, you know what, Monkey? I think you're in a sneaky chicken. You play with a squeaky toy. You got your ears scratched. You chased the cat off the bed and then didn't utilize the bed. You were in a stinky chicken. We have one stinky chicken left. There's only one left in this bag. So we're going to have to go and find some stinky chicken, or hope that there's some in the P.O. box, perhaps. You want that stinky chicken? You want it? You want it? You want it? Oh, get in there. You want that stinky chicken so bad. There's no politeness whatsoever in that one. Javi gave more for Toys for Tots with my Jimmy call gains. Thanks for being such a positive, great human. Well, thank you, Javi. Awesome. Thank you. BBBY, Houston, tuning in at about 20 minutes in, watching 1.5 speed to hopefully catch up, even though I haven't finished watching the charity stream yet. That's okay. Welcome. You got time. Or another 12 minutes, and then I'm out of here. But, yeah. Gabriel B. Houston, think Jimmy might get to 50s, 60s? It should. I mean, it should be in that level, period. That's where the floor should be on it at all times. On this round, will it get to 50s, 60s? We saw some articles come out today. They're like, traders think that's going to double in price. So that puts it at $30, $30-ish dollars, 28 to 30. If BBBY works out the way we think it is, and the players we think are involved, $50, $60 will be chump change. And we will wish we had bought more at that price. That's what I think. So, sit and wait, man. Twiddle your thumbs. Scott Pollan, GME fair intrinsic value is around $30 billion, and that's without any short selling. That's share price by $100. Agreed, Scott. A company that does $5 billion a year in sales and doesn't have debt should be worth in the $30 billion range. That's about what it is. MNEF, what 3 words was such a beautiful idea executed by a bunch of patent-happy bunch of buttholes? I don't know anything about the people who made that, but now I'm intrigued and I want to know more. Yes. Spam 620. I spam hearts. I'm with you, spy. Okay. See my god, dude with nub. Equity after pump and dump case is over. The two dumb plaintiffs currently have no standing stake and are probably only here to get Discovery, Pro Varsity Ventures, hedgy fishing expedition. Ding ding. That's exactly what they are. And if you are a waiter and you serve them in a restaurant, I will not fault you for spitting in their burger. So they should probably get spit in their food wherever they go for the rest of their lives. Trend. Anyone else looking at the Teddy publication on the U.S. Patent Office Gazette? Well, that was just made me all positive. All is cool. I saw they got more approvals on the thing. I didn't really look closely. I was like, oh, more patents. Neat. Here we go. Spy 620. Ooh. Houston, will you do me a lot of good and say hello to my dogs, Juro and Yogi? Juro and Yogi. Come here, Juro and Yogi. Come here. Come here, Juro and Yogi. Come up here. Right here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. You're gonna come say hi to Monkey Butt? We got this Monkey Butt right there. I have to say hi to Juro and Yogi. Right there, right in that camera. Go. 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 Hello. 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 Michael Anthony, Housty Waste. Can you send me... Can some help me make sense when buying the low toe how that can't bag get wearing with and dividend for longer term and please? You just, what you do is you gotta reach behind the bag and there's a little knob. You twist the knob, pull that out, and then the hose connects into there. Take that cap, put the other end of the hose, you're good to go. It'll work from that point forward. So don't worry, don't sweat it. It's easy. Interested at Houston, I'm dumb. Why did the cliffs form? Also, what do you know about Como Bluffs, Wyoming? There's a whole cabin built from fossil rock. Well, that sounds cool. Why the cliffs form was over the course of cajillions of years, you had this zooplankton and float around the water and it would eat bacteria and algae and shit and whatever it is zooplankton do. And then they'd die and they go, they sink to the bottom. And it takes millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of years to create hundreds of feet of corpses like that, of microscopic corpses. And the chalk, like you get chalk in a classroom and you screw on the board, you are using dead bodies, dead little zooplankton bodies to write on the board. Heavy metal. Bone dust of microplankton. Yeah. But Como Bluffs, Wyoming, a house made from fossils. Como Bluffs. Como Bluffs, Wyoming, fossil house. Here we go. Fossil cabin. Wink. Oops, that's not. There we go. So there it is. There's a lady with the fossil cabin. That's pretty cool. Can we do images? So believe it or not, the little house, can we zoom in on the fossils? Do you have a close-up of the fossils at all? These look like slaty materials. Are they bones? Are they... What are they made of? Bone cabin, Como Bluff. So I guess they're bones. Are they dinosaur bones? Are they... What kind of bones are they? What do we have for Wikipedia? Does Wikipedia give us something? Wyoming's oldest building is tens of millions of years old. The Fossil Cabin Museum on Highway 30, Wyoming was built in 1932. Its material is much older. The cabin is constructed entirely out of dinosaur fossils. That is rad. 5,796 dinosaur bones excavated near Como Bluffs were used to build the cabin. That is cool. I'm going to have to go to where's Como Bluff? Google Earth, tell me. Tell me where Como Bluff, Wyoming is, because I have not driven through Como Bluff, Wyoming. Como Bluff, Wyoming. Boink, boink. All right, we're going to leave Arizona. We're going to slap down to Wyoming. Shaboomp. Como Bluffs. Ooh, look at that fold. Okay, so who's near here? Medicine Bow. Wilcox. Garrett. Glendo. Douglas, Glenrock, Casper. Okay, there's Casper. All right. City, Creek, Warren Rollins. Oh, okay. You're above the Medicine Bow Mountains. So yeah, I've not been through this. I've been through this the medicine bows. I've done diamond mining and gold mining here in the medicine bows. The little ghost town called Keystone. You can go get some diamonds out of the river. Okay, so that's where Como Bluffs is. I wonder if this is where my friends Nick and Sarah went. So my friend Sarah, who is the capsule command for Blue Origin, one of the first customers who went up into space. Might have been one of the ones that went right after Jeff Bezos went up. It was a husband and wife, and the wife is a paleontologist who specializes in dinosaur bones, and invited her and my friend Nick out, and they went and dug dinosaur bones last summer. I wonder if it was near here. Interesting. Cool. And you can see in this area too, like, do you see these little round ponds? Little round ponds, little round ponds. These might be clouds. These guys are probably kimberlite pipes too. So that's sexy. Get dinosaur bones and diamonds in one spot. I like it. I want to go to Como Bluffs. Go check that place out. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. It's a good one. Beef Supreme. How come we feel earthquakes and not the spinning and rotating around the sun? For the same reason that when you're in a car, you're not accelerating, you don't feel like you're accelerating. That's it. Like the act of accelerating, that creates force on your body. It creates centripetal force, basically, on your body. And that's how you know you're moving. But because you were born rotating at 1,000 miles an hour on the Earth, means you have no frame of reference for moving 1,000 miles an hour. And all the air is moving 1,000 miles an hour, and all the trees are moving 1,000 miles an hour, and the blades of grass moving 1,000 miles an hour. And you don't have drag in space because space is a vacuum. So the Earth can rotate without any drag from space. So you don't going to get any like trees getting waved back at all on that. And that's why you don't feel it. But if you were to stop the Earth rotating all of a sudden, everyone on Earth would turn into a red mist, and that would be it. Several thousand G's of impact force, and poof, that we would all cease to exist. So there you go. First Day Productions, what have you heard about Elon Musk being part of the Butterfly conglomerate? It's all been speculation. They've had nothing beyond speculation. Like, hey, Elon says that they're going to be doing a SpaceX IPO, selling shares to the public this month, and that kind of lines up with this thing. It could be a Five Guy. People were thinking that because Pulte was taking them to watch Falcon 9 launch when the PP guys were down in Florida in September, that means Elon is part of this thing. It's all speculation. It's pure speculation. We have no confirmation whatsoever. He's a part of this thing. So, but we're Speculation Station. Everything's plausible in Speculation Station. So welcome to the Plausibility Dome, where we're plausibility-ing all over the place. You guys, I am going to remain an hour and a half behind in the chat. I am so far behind. It is almost time for me to go. I apologize for not being able to get through all hour and a half of these questions. But, yeah. Wolfie J, for fuck's sakes, most have used the last 40 years to get rid of the ad model. Good luck. I mean, we're talking about Netflix, talking about having to bring ads in now. So we're just back to network TV, but with on-demand shows rather than just watching whatever's scheduled at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday. Yogi 2012, a stock you can't talk about. Some interesting action today. I did have some interesting action today. That's interesting. Weird. Very weird. 4 more months. 4 more months and I can talk about... 3 more months? Wait. 6 months from October. Yeah, 4 more months. 4 more months I can talk about it. Trey MC, I watch you so I can watch you eat crow, sprinkled with the opposite of what you believe while you apologize for missing the outcome of what we really know. Can you be more specific there, Trey MC, or just be a obtuse dick? Do you have anything of substance to add? Question? Other than just being purposely vague and an asshole at the same time? I mean, come on. You can You can spit it out. By all means, have at it. Money over mayo. I have a code from the beginning of the raffles. Okay, so money over mayo does not need one. I thought you had gotten one. All right. So put a star there. Okay, cool. Thank you. Chris Collins. There we go. I asked yesterday if anyone had heard from Chris Collins. The last I heard from you, you were like in Machu Picchu or something deep in the Andes. And that was like 2 months ago. And I have not seen you in the chat since or seen anything posted online. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're doing well. I was worried that you just fell off a mountain road in Peru and that was the last of Chris Collins. So welcome. I'm glad you're here. Yay. Okay. That just alleviated any little bit of worry I had. So, because we're talking about yesterday about how we miss seeing the Pen 15 show up for Trading Tuesday. Because, that's funny. You guys don't know the PEN is the Peruvian currency. And then if you donate 15 of those, it turns into penis. And it's funny. So welcome. I'm glad you're back, Chris. Put a giant condom around it, talking about Starship. Michael Anthony Houston, I was told to you that Michael Anthony, I was told to talk to you that you had a list, you had plenty of tour around companies which are overstocked, which I please. Yes. Fabrizio, so advertising go fuck themselves. Yeah, plop that one, Fabrizio. Willful J, still waiting for the maritime law so we can have a discussion. Ask me maritime law questions. We'll have to do it tomorrow. We talked about briefly. I don't know anything about maritime law. I just know that apparently some contracts were signed for shipping from these shipping conglomerates, some big giant Swiss shipping magnate, which is crazy to me that Swiss has a Swiss shipping magnate because they're a landlocked country. But they didn't deliver like $160 million in goods for Bed Bath & Beyond during COVID, and Bed Bath & Beyond is suing for damages. And because there was a failure in the contract, that they can get like twice as much money for what the failure was, because there's products they would sell and presumably make profit on, instead lost money because nothing was delivered. But yeah, I know nothing about maritime law. They're a Wolfie J. Perhaps give us next show, give us a good prod on maritime law if you know anything, and we can go from there, because I know nothing. I just know the article I read that said that they're suing the crap out of them, and I briefly read some of the complaint, and it seems pretty like you owe us, and the maritime law guys are going to get it from you. So, PG Sunday, was Kissinger just an evil, power-hungry person, or was he a psychopath who just wanted to cause pain? Yes. I mean, Kissinger said that post-World War II, we should just let the Russians finish annihilating all the Jews. Like, he's Jewish himself. That's a really weird stand to take. I just know that the world would have been better off if in like 1975 we shipped them off to The Hague and just let things happen there. Probably would have been better at that point. Okay, my voice is failing me. It's late at night. As per usual, I will see you guys on Friday. I think I might try to be on PP show Friday night, so I'll probably try to do a daytime show on Friday and then be on PP late at night on Friday. Have more substantial conversation than like, hey, how you doing? What you did tonight? And with the caveat that if for some reason Amazing Documents S1 or something is dropped tomorrow, we'll do that. But I'm going to try and go to the gym tomorrow and get back to being Ripped Houston, because it has been too long and I'm not wearing my thingy anymore. My elbow is feeling great. I think we can go back to getting yoked again. So we're going to do it. All right, everybody. Have a great night, and I will see you Friday. This one. Bye. Right? Anything to say? Got your chicken? You're happy? Fat cat?